Hey YouTube, it's 2025 and you've probably seen some of those amazingly skilled Twitch streamers playing the hardest Super Mario levels out there. Usually Super Mario World from the SNES is turned into something called Kaizo Mario, which is essentially just fan-made, edited, extremely hard Mario platforming. There is an ever-growing collection of Super Mario ROM hacks on a website called smwcentral.com featuring all kinds of skill levels, and it's divided into 3 main categories, being beginner, intermediate and expert. And this gives you a good opportunity to improve, to practice and to become a real Kaizo Pro player. The selection, however, can be quite overwhelming at start. So in this video I'm trying to give you a good overview, a good selection to gradually advance from total beginner to, let's say, solid intermediate. Let's dive right into it. The first hack that I like to recommend is called Mario Story Return to Sweet and Sour Land, an extremely easy and lenient Kaizo ROM hack by Lush50, one of the most active Kaizo ROM hackers out there. This one was meant to be standard hard and not even Kaizo. It turned out to include a few typical Kaizo tricks, so the moderators decided to re-rate it. Now it's really one of the most beginner-friendly Kaizo hacks out there and a solid recommendation for anyone, even people who don't plan to start a big whole Kaizo career, but just want to try what it feels like to make it a bit harder than the original. When Love Yourself by Shon Tori came out, it almost instantly became a Kaizo classic, and that is for a good reason. Not only does it present the most typical Kaizo level setups and makes you practice all of those, no, it also gives you a valuable lesson in self-appreciation and, as the title suggests, helps you to find love for yourself. It is a good bit harder than Mario Story, but will be your first true Kaizo hack, and beating it really pays off. It's got a number of 17 exits, and as I mentioned before, it covers all the typical mechanics you will find in any other Kaizo hack, probably, including disco shells for instance, or layer 2 scroll. All of those will be featured here and you will learn to deal with them. First step forward is part of the recent cascade of Light Alliance and Sayela hacks. Those two creators are well known by the community for their extremely creative level design and the visually pleasing aesthetics. This was their first attempt to really make a beginner friendly hack, and they did an extremely good job. The 11 exits present an enormous variety of different types of levels and a few rarely seen chocolate, so custom ASM gimmicks that might have you sweat here and there but will prepare you for the harsh reality of Kaizo Mario. Foxx BGN World is the beginner version of Foxx BGN World, the debut hack by the Fox87. He decided to combine two of his greatest passions, being board games and foxes, apparently. Every single level is themed after one of his favorite board games, and not only the player sprite but also a bunch of enemies were redesigned to look like foxes. The original version is one of my favorite hacks of all time, and it's a real hidden gem. Not many people know of it. Be sure to check it out. This next one is another beginner version of an intermediate hack. Chicanery by Bufflin. He initially intended the original version to be beginner as well, but as so many, he didn't quite manage that. Turns out making a real beginner hack is a true challenge. However, about a year later he came back to his project and decided to make the levels actually beginner friendly, and this is the result. Chicanery Beginner Edition oozes with creativity in every single level. It features all the typical Kaizo level types and more. Very creative chocolate gimmicks here and there, sprinkled in without spoiling the taste at all. It was a pure joy to play through this one, even as a solid intermediate player, so I'm very sure you will have a lot of fun as well. Orcus by Jordan is another one of those higher beginner difficulty Kaizo ROM hacks. It's only the first one of a few recognized beginner-friendly ROM hacks by Jordan, the other ones being The Unknown, for instance, or Icro, The Children of Dalum, but for some reason this one remains to be one of my all-time favorites. Maybe it's just for nostalgia reasons, maybe it's the low amount of chocolate and the similar difficulty throughout the whole hack. You are presented with 3 different worlds you have to finish in order to beat the final boss, but you can choose freely in which order you want to beat those 3 worlds. Every level is about one particular gimmick, and there are 3 extra levels that are slightly harder than the rest and not mandatory to beat the game. On top of the quite simple, super fun and flowy platforming, there are a few shell jumps in more than one level that are slightly more difficult than your standard shell jump, so it's good for learning those as well. It's just a very clear recommendation and will boost you right up into the intermediate difficulty. The final and arguably hardest hack on this list is Nuatepra by Oct and Akleis. It is rated intermediate on SMW Central, but there is a beginner mode included, where all the levels have been edited to be slightly easier and more approachable. This hack truly feels like a full-length Mario adventure featuring all types of levels and a very unique level design style. Although it is the beginner mode of the hack, I would probably set it as low intermediate, so if you're able to beat all of this, I'm very positive you're ready to approach other harder hacks. That's it for the main list of this video. I really hope these few hacks will help you kickstart your Kaizo career and advance from beginner to intermediate player. However, what would be any good mission without a side quest? Even within the niche of Kaizo Mario itself, there are subgenres, which is why I would like to present to you 2 very beginner-friendly shell hacks, which will help you advance this particular type of mechanic that's required in a few SMW hacks and even more in a few others. First name Bud is well known for his number of shell hacks that he released on SMW Central over the last year. Most of them are notably harder, but with this one he managed to pull off a nice and easy introduction to shell hacks. There's a wide number of level themes and a few vanilla and chocolate gimmicks sprinkled in, nothing too hard though. And the trick you will mostly learn to improve here is a simple normal shell jump in all different kinds of situations. Shelltopia is Vidley's first hack, and even though you are playing Sonic and not Mario, the physics remain unchanged from the original. The focus of this little hack is on combining different shell tricks. You will have to perform double shell jumps at one point, and the final castle is a bit more tough than the rest. This one is slightly harder than Sweet Shell, still rated as beginner, and a good step towards all those intermediate shell hacks you can find on SMW Central. I enjoyed this little hack so much that I even considered speedrunning it. It never came to that, but I bet you will have fun with it. It's a great one. Go check it out! That's it for this video. I sincerely hope this list will help you advance from beginner to intermediate Kaizo player, or maybe if you're in the game already, you found out about a few hacks that you never heard of before. If so, if you liked the video, please feel free to like and subscribe as always, and go check out my Twitch. It's hard to get followers on there these days, apparently. No need, of course. See you until next time. Bye bye.